So they'd be calling you a radical important video. Maybe I get 12 views. Kettle me, I'll kettle you. So Joey and Michael, the two vloggers who have risked their lives over and over and over going into Fukushima's, the town there, Okinawa, and documenting and videoing the carnage. They've done it multiple times, and it was only a matter of time. And of course, this is what happens. The 7th grade hall monitors sit around and watch you know, like they do me, and then they go after you. They flag. They're running to teacher and telling. It was only a matter of time. That's what they do. These 70-year-old 7th grade hall monitors sit around. We're going to tell the nuclear energy crimes. So I've emailed them back and forth multiple times, and I told them I wouldn't go in there. You know, you're risking your lives. And do you think I know? I have the nuclear bomb disease. Is Sudoku, who's she, folding 1,000 paper cranes. Her mom used to call it the nuclear bomb disease, the atom bomb disease. I have the atom bomb disease. I was given 2 months lib in 2011. So, but their footage is historical, really historical. And so they've been arrested. So, are they still being detained? My guess, yes. Now, stay with me, because I believe he's from Taiwan, but I think I'm not positive. You're going to have to help me out on this. I'm pretty sure he grew up in the United States. Is the State Department going to get involved? I'll guarantee you not. Somebody nuclear? Oh, they're probably loving it. They're probably the ones that arrested the U.S. State Department. I believe Michael is from the UK, right? You think they're going to get involved? They're probably the ones that squealed. And so I knew it was only a matter of time. You know, they say right there on their we shouldn't go in here, but we're going to. And so apparently one of the 7th grade hall monitors squealed, look, they went into an old abandoned building. Yeah, so what? It's an old abandoned building. They're not taking anything. They're documenting history, historical, risking their lives. You know, I've talked to them via, you know, just comments, whatever. And I'm like, well, you know, there's a good chance you get leukemia later in life. Very good chance. Now, stay with me. You know, Sudoku, what was Sudoku when the bombs were dropped? Hiroshima, I think she was 1. When did she die? Did she die in 55? She was 11 when she died. Of course, so she was 11. I went into the bone marrow transplant in 11/11. I have that same disease. She died of AML. I'm the world's foremost expert. I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. I'm probably the world's foremost expert on it. Well, there's no doubt. You know, my father, drafted Marine from this town, marched into the freaking Nevada test site, Air Blast 1. This is long before the other 40,000. He said there were prisoners in cages there. You know, my uncle, look him up, Claude Blanche. You don't think all the real detailed stuff I know is from him. Yeah, he was at the Pentagon for years, and I mean high ranking, big time. Stationed in Japan for all those years. He was the lead guy in the Air Force in Japan for all those years. Look him up. My uncle that raised me. So, they've been released from jail? I don't know. My guess is I doubt it. Well, if you think the State Department's going to get involved, ask Mark Fogel. Now, this ties into this University, Weber State. Brittany Griner. Mark Fogel did the exact identical thing she did. Brittany Griner entered after the State Department, including my emails. I got stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out. Joe Ballenboy, who played on this university, he was in Moscow. He got out. You know, when they went after him, they took his money, they took everything. He sued him. He sued the, you know. So the Biden administration gets Brittany out. I'm glad she's out. But they didn't get Mark Fogel out. Mark Fogel's a school teacher. The exact identical charge. The exact identical. He's a school teacher. He's not famous. He's not a celebrity, because that's what the left in this country turned into. You know, Barry Antoinette Obama did celebrityism. I'm going to have a party with Jay-Z. And, I mean, that's what it's all turned out. And then the right, they speak with forked tongue. We're fiscal. Oh, God. I mean, politically, this country is a freaking, well, it's imperialism. So their footage is historic. They've been in there multiple times. I watch their footage, and I tell them, historic, because Will they wipe it out and take it down? Get all their stuff backed up. You know, because that's what these scumbags do. You know, the 7th grade hall monitors sit around watching video. I'm calling the teacher. I'm telling teacher. That's what social media pathetic. It's pathetic is what it is. These dirtbags. You know? So, you know, they videoed themselves going in that window of the inn. They've been doing it for a long time. It's important. My work, you know, I was working on the children of the atomic veterans. When I got cancer, out of my mouth, Fukushima's going to give cancer. I've been dealing with this my whole life. I was mutated from birth. I got leukemia in 2011. Bloom coming up, piles on. It's bioaccumulating, and it usually doesn't show up immediately. It can. It can show up very quickly. You know, radiation sickness, but typically, it's very typical. Sudoku's the perfect. I mean, that book should be read by every single child on the face of the earth. Folding 1,000 paper cranes. There's her great niece at the Enola Gay hangar right here. Where, I mean, you think that's historical? Jim and I set that up. They come. Kevin Blanche, 7th grade Utah. Father, special. I mean, I come from the Blanche family here is so famous, it's unbelievable. My beautiful father, drafted, human lab rat in the Nevada test say, dies in the prime. None of his brothers or sister, none of them, no cancer, whatever. This guy never had a cold in his life, never had a cavity in his life. Mowed him down in the prime of his life. Then I get it, it mutates forever. His great-grandson, neuroblastoma. The atom bomb sickness, AML. She died of AML 10 years after the bomb. It showed up, I think, it showed up in her what? Her mother started saying she started seeing symptoms earlier. That, of course. It's how this works. I've told these two guys, you shouldn't be going in there. You know, you're exposing yourself radically. You know, multiple times they've gone in. And so, should they have been arrested? Hell no. You know, they deserve awards. Just like Kevin Blanche. Talk about my type of work. I mean, we're all downwinders here from Fukushima. We're all downwinders here from Fukushima. Who's the downwinders? North America. You're going to chalk up the dead typos. My typo work alone is a freaking Nobel Prize. Not to mention my salmon work. It's a Nobel Prize. Not to mention my fire work. All over the world. My work at the IAEA. That's where I made this. You know, we made this, me and Sandra. And so, at the Blanche box. You know, I've tried, but look what we're up against. 7th grade hall monitors. Hope you don't get cancer. We're going to tell. We're going to tell. Why? Because that's the sicko freak show we live in. You know? 22 shoe America. Self-righteous America. It's absolutely pathetic is what it is. So, bet you anything, they got turned in by some Americano, still USA. He's from Taiwan, I believe. You know, they get it in Taiwan. They protest. He's been arrested, but their footage is incredibly historic. Nobody's going to show you that. That footage blows your mind because they're erasing all the buildings. He got the footage before the buildings. I mean, I've been watching their stuff from the first day they went in. I tell them, thank you, historical footage. You're risking your lives. You do know you're risking your lives. They know that, you know, and let's hope they don't get leukemia. But, you know, leukemia, you're not going to get it the next day. For the most part, you'll get radiation. I mean, it can show up anytime it wants. I got it at 51 years old. I'm sure it came through my father's genome. So, I support those two 100%. They've taken so much risk. I've always supported. Isn't the other one from the UK? They're not going to protect him. Biden? You think Biden's administration, the state, what, you're going to go to Rahm Emanuel? Rahm Emanuel was in the Situation Room, cover up of Fukushima. Rahm Emanuel comes out of the nuclear industry. He's the ambassador to Japan? Yeah, they're going to save him. No, you know, they're probably the ones that arrested him. So, what do you think, Fuku and Coco? So, I bought a car that had all kinds of issues, but it's having serious issues, you know, but Nobody's going to support me. I just don't get enough support. I don't know how I'm even alive. Whatever. What do you think, Fuku? What do you think, Fuku? You got 18,000 becquerels of cesium 137. Cesium 137 that only comes from a nuclear fission event per kilogram in you? That's 1,800 times over the raised legal limits. China had to report that. Oh, what's this, Coco? You're from San Diego? Remember when they found the cesium in the tuna in San Diego? What, in 2011? Yeah, the summer of 2011. I'm down there fighting and I get cancer. Let's see, the Japanese current. Breaking news, gesturing moves left to right. Breaking news, it was on the coast. We took the hit here. You know, we're still taking the hit. Delmar, we never got near those corns, but they're going to tell you Chernobyl's the worst nuclear act. These two young men's footage is historical. You know, and nobody's going to come to their aid. I'll get the UK, the pro-nuclear imperialists from hell, the United States, who's the old USA, who's nothing but an imperialist. Well, they're the old British freaking colony. We're nothing but their military arm now. We're imperialism. What happened to this country? You know, they deserve freaking Nobel Prizes, both of them. They deserve Pulitzer Prizes. Well, so does Kevin Blanche. But what do we get? You take a. Why is there no activist? Well, hello. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? I was educated in that school right there, the #1 school, but at a young age. You know, what am I going to do? Work for the university that blackballs anybody? They blackballed me illegally. Illegal. I'm not. That's what they do. They'll kettle you. They'll take your stuff down. They'll freaking attack. Why? They'll hire freaking PR firms from hell that'll hire trolls to stalk you, attack you. There were dozens of YouTube sites just 100% dedicated to slander and attack him while I'm in critical condition. While I'm in a bone marrow transplant center. While I'm sitting in the ICU twice with open heart surgery. I just had open heart surgery again. And I get no funding. I get no support. I got no nothing. You know. For whom the bell tolls. Good nuclear energy puppets. Good 7th grade hall monitors. It's pathetic. I hope you don't get cancer. You know, trying to save you from you is a real motherfucker. Right, Fuku? Yeah. Yeah. You know, somebody says, why you fight so hard for these sheep that don't give a shit about you? Who said I was? I'm fighting for my grandchildren. I'm fighting for the ecology. I'm fighting for the fishies in the sea, the seals, the whales, the ecology. We from the sea, Kevin D. I fight for her, the mighty blue lady. The ecology. She fights for we, Kevin D. from the sea. You know, there's a reason I've survived this. I was given 2 months to live with no chance of living. I went to a bone plant on 11/11. You talk about a compelling story. Felonies in all 50 states to attack me. But, you know, the greatest PhD probably in freaking modern history. Well, probably in human history. You know. What do you think, Coco? Fukushima killed my food. What's that? We too, from the sea. The 60,000-pound whale says to Coco, says to Fuku. Whales are plankton feeders, except for killer whales. You're going to chalk it all up to coincidence. The salmon collapse, this freaking typo collapse, Kevin Blanche has done it. I've proven it. It's unarguable. You can run regression now. And Chernobyl the greatest. One's more than 10. Their footage, because the last time before this one they went in there, the buildings were erased. They're tearing it down, trying to erase history. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to video it, did it happen? You know, they'll take their shit down, so get it all backed up. You know, that's what they're going to do. It's historic foot. Risking their lives? Oh, fuck. They knew this was going to happen at one point. They say it in their vlogs all the time. Well, we're going in here, you know, we're not. It's historic, you know. You know, free them. But the United States State Department, what, Rahm Emanuel, who was in the Situation Room on the cover up of Fukushima, make it so with Gregory Jacko. You know, hey man, N. Ortiz, look what they did to Aaron Swartz. Look what they did to Megan Rice, an 85-year-old nun that Obama put in prison, anti-nuclear activist. Turned down the freaking heat to 55 degrees. Holding cell, waiting trial, wouldn't let her out on bail. 85-year-old peace activist, the disciple of Dorothy Day. This is Obama, your Nobel Prize winner. I will quote her in the trial. I'm at the trial. Sentencing. Thank you, Timothy. She kept calling the person. Thank you, Timothy, for putting an 85-year-old peace activist, nun, in a holding cell built to hold for 2 to 3 weeks for 3 years and turning down the heat to 55 degrees and trying to kill me. Thank you. So when I get out, I have something else to protest. The military industrialized human warehousing, which right here, the stadium's named after Marco. These people right here. That's how they made all their money at Weber State. That's exactly how they made all their money. Human warehousing. Browning Arms, the war profiteers. So, Rahm Emanuel going to save you? He was in the situation. Make it so. Remember the USS Reagan? Remember all my work there? Talk about a Nobel Prize. Remember that? That I can't even. All I ever wanted was a new car, and I can't even get a car. I can't get shit. You know, what did I get for all this work? I didn't get shit. Well, I got a bill for $1.8 million in bone marrow transplant. I got open heart surgery twice. I got to harvest the artery out of my leg. I have a pacemaker now. You know, I lost my gallbladder. I've lost my teeth. I mean, I used to tell them all the time, it's a good chance you get leukemia later in life. They know that. You know, again, I go back to Sudoku. Here I'm at the Enola Gay hangar. Freaking 7th generation Utah. Come from this famous Utah for doctors. You know, I mean, the Blanche family's so famous. First whiting in the cemetery in this town. My dad gave his life. Harold Blanche, my uncle, still on Wild Beach on DD. All these incredible, famous Ogdenites. Utah. The Enola Gay flies out of here. He reaches out to me. Sudoku's great niece. That picture's a story. So, you know, I do my event at the Enola Gay hangar every year for 40 years. Nobody gave a shit about things caving in. Jim rolls in. You know, we get together and, you know, we restored it. Private funding, whatever. And then, the Air Force takes it over after we get it restored. They didn't want nothing. It was falling in. It was caving in. They didn't want nothing to do with it. Just left it. When they got done, they just left. You know, the bombing range, all of it. That's in Utah. She reaches out. I mean, this is Sudoku, who's heir to the atom bomb disease. Her great niece, to Kevin Blanche. Where it flew here to Japan. You don't think that's a story? Jim and I sent emails to Weber State historian professors, Weber State history professors, every single politician we had, including Mike Lee, including Mitt Romney. All of them, we sent them out to the governor. They didn't send anyone, including all the media, international media from all over the world there, including HNK. They haul me, we're doing a documentary, we want to interview you. Okay, I'm ready, what about? And as soon as they're like, oh, wait a minute, he tells the truth. We got a panty painter make up a lie. You know, the head of the Fukushima 50 died of esophagus cancer shortly after Fukushima. Oh, just coincidence. He was so close and so intense. That place is so heavily radioactive. So Sudoku dies. My dad dies of it. In his family. I almost die of it. Kevin Blanche, we want to award this folded recycled paper fan from recycled folded paper cranes at the Hiroshima. Yeah, thank you for all your historic work, because I wasn't kettled in Japan. And you go ask Rachel Godoy, you go ask Kathy Iwani, who was paramount with me shutting down Santa Barbara. She'll tell you. The only reports we were getting true in Japan was from Kevin Blanche in the U.S. here. I'm the only person on earth that called these full blown out meltdowns when they happen. Hillary's emails prove it, the cover up. Well, I mean, don't go outside. Take a shower. Take no tent. Wash your clothes. Make it so Barack Obama's flown to Argentina after he gave that biggest lie in human history. I never promised you a rose garden on St. Patrick's Day 2011, 6 days after the event. Sanjay Gupta and Anderson Van Der Kill are in Fukushima. nuclear fault, meltdowns. Jim Walsh, who faked it from MIT. Nuclear faults, you know. Day 6, the wind shifts. They've been dumping water, pushing in the ocean the whole time, and you're falling for this water tank fallacy? They fly home. Is that even possible? They said nuclear meltdowns hundreds, if not thousands of times. Sanjay Gupta, practicing MD, and nurse. My uncle grew up right over there. Practicing neuro. So I ran it by him. I said, is that criminal? Oh, yeah, it's against our freaking code. It's against the law. You know, it goes on Anderson Vander. He goes on Sanjay Gupta, MD, 2 weeks later, and uses the 11-year annual. Has some young artist from Michigan comes on and says, I had rheumatic fevers in my bed when Chernobyl happened, and I went to Chernobyl and found out there's nothing wrong there. Just lying. And then he has a doctor. I found out that I'm a doctor in Japan, and I found out and she uses the 11-year innuendo, Sudoku, and she says, you know, my friend died when she was 11. You know, she's using that innuendo. She's lying. And, you know, maybe she was, maybe she did have another friend. I mean, because so many of them died. But she says, I found out radiation's not all bad. It's good. It saves you. And people think that radiation and chemo are the same thing. No, they're not. My doctors don't like radiation treatment. I had chemo. I had turkey tail. I had this new cocktail. You know, I had very tiny bit of radiation. Dr. Thompson LDS, I was his last patient. I have 4 tattoos of me, but they used tiny bit of radiation because my doctor said, no, we don't like it. But, you know, so don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What do you think, Fuku? What do you think, Coco? It's the greatest crime in human history. Their nuclear energy emperors have no clothes. Set them free. So this is a big deal. I need a car, man. You know, I borrowed this car. This thing's got 250. It's got all kinds of issues. It's going to break down. And I don't even have money to get it fixed. You know, I barely can get by because I have 1 or 2 supporters. But, you know, I work hard at this 7 days a week. I have the whole time, trying to save you from you, you know. So we're afraid of nuclear energy meltdowns until they happen. We're afraid of them until they happen. We're afraid of them until they happen. We're afraid of them until they happen. Then it's see no nuclear energy, speak no nuclear, hear no nuclear energy evil. And then you're going to sit and tell you 1 partial graphite freaking reactor at Chernobyl who had no spent fuel pools. It was going. We had 7 spent fuel pools at Fukushima. They went into Zerk fire, which is a meltdown. They blew to smithereens. It's that night. My work right there I did in that building. I proved that these Mach 1, Mach 2s, Utah Construction G, this is the university that built it. I proved that the spent fuel pools, even at Diablo Canyon, San Onofre, we got them out of San Onofre in dry cascade. I proved, my models prove that these Mach 1, Mach 2, the reactors of Fukushima, Japan. I'm screaming about Fukushima for decades before it happened because it was on the Ring of Fire. TikTok, Diablo Canyon clock. They can't handle anything over a 7.6, 7.7, 7.8 right in that neighborhood. They crack open, lose water, and they're on Zerk fire. There was 7 spent fuel pools there, including the common spent fuel pool, including full MOX fuel. At least 3 core meltdowns that we've never got near. Delmar Argentina syndrome, I named it. And you're telling me that Chernobyl, who had no spent fuel, 1 partial graphite, the Gorbachev and the Soviet Union, 780,000 drafted men entombed. You know, we're all afraid of disasters until everybody's talking about the big Z. I'm the guy that named the big Z, but they won't talk about the one that happened. They're worried about the ones that are going to happen. Fear porn on Balco. What about the one that happened? Yeah, you know. Fuck, I need a car, man. Jesus. God, is that so much to ask for? Is it 7 days a week? You think I get an income? I don't have an income. I got blackballed. I got cancer in 2011. I've been fighting for my life for 12 years. I've been in critical condition for 12 years. I was down to 138 just recently. You watched it in the hospital? Rip me open, pour me out. There's things that says because I did the Unforgiven. Never free, never Kevin D, never me. I saw Metallica on the field right there in 98. It's been downhill ever since. #1 school business I taught at right there, 98. Look it up. They're under investigation for China. And they don't even hit the Prince of Reviews, the top 300. Because I did the Unforgiven. Said the F word. Can you believe? How is that even possible? It's Orwell on Balco. It becomes a natural occupying a bird refuge. It's Orwell on chemo. I have the atom bomb disease. Killed my dad. Sudoku's mother used to call that the atom bomb disease, AML leukemia. It shows up years later, and it's vicious. Oh, they got a pill. No, they don't. It's vicious. You know, they're getting better, but it's vicious. You know, and the treatment, you don't even want to know. Blisters on my tongue, loss of pigment in my eyes, you know, no food. I mean, it was nasty. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit in my life. Set them free, you know. Thank you for your work, you two. I believe he's from Taiwan, but he lived in the United States. The U.S. isn't going to do anything for him. In fact, the U.S. is the ones probably Rob Manuel's probably the ones that arrested him. You know, and so Never free, never me. The nuclear energy emperors, they have no fucking clothes. Stand